Hey guys, welcome to Living Satisfied. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Ellie and I am a nutritional therapist and a mom of 2 toddlers. And today we are going to be reviewing the Kurbo app by Weight Watchers. This is something that I'm super excited to film. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of opinions, and I'm going to try to keep this video as short as possible. We'll see. But yeah, this video is going to be talked about in 2 different videos. The first, which is this one, is going to be just a general overview of Kurbo and the program, and then the second one is going to be me reviewing the actual Kurbo app, the free version where you just track your food, and what mine and my son's food looked like on the Kurbo app and how many reds, yellows, and greens that we had. So stay tuned for that video. It will be out in just a few days after this video, so I will link it in the iCard above once the video is live. Also, before we begin, a shameless plug of I am a nutritional therapist and I meet with clients privately. If you are interested, click the link down below to my website and it will give you all the information you probably need. I do host free initial consultations. These are like 15 to 30-minute consultations where we can just chat and see what program works for you. So let me know and I'd love to talk to you guys. Okay. Let's begin. This app I heard about first through Instagram, which I'm sure a lot of you guys heard it first through social media and things like that. A lot of my other nutrition and dietitian friends were posting about it. And to say that they were pissed about the program is an understatement. Quite an understatement. They were pissed. So I was looking through their stuff and I was trying to figure out what the heck Kurbo is, and I'm assuming I'm saying this right. Kurbo. I assume this is what it is. I'm looking. I don't know. I assume that's how you say it. That's how I say it. So yeah, they were not happy. So I started looking through and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make my own opinion. I'm gonna go on the website, gather all the information I can, and here we are. And here is the information I've gathered and the opinions that I have. All right, throughout this video, I am gonna be looking down at my notes a little bit just to make sure that I'm getting the correct information for you guys, and so that I can be as concise as possible. The first thing is, what in the world is Kurbo? Kurbo is a program brought to you by Weight Watchers that is mainly for kids and adolescents, and it's just geared towards families and making them healthier and lose weight. So they are supposed to be a lifestyle change, not a diet. Let's see here. They are all surrounded by, the program is created around the traffic light. So it's stating that you can eat all the foods, but you just need to follow the correct traffic light signals, which green means that you can go for it. These, as they initially approach the red light, green light situation, it says green lights are like fruits and veggies and low-fat milk, water, that kind of thing. Yellow light is what they say is the most of our diet, and it means that you need to like slow down and think about what food choices you're making. But this can be everything from like eating eggs to pasta. Like it's a huge variety of foods within the yellow department. And then you go to red, and the initial description of the red foods is that it is like candy, soda, sugary items, that kind of thing. It does kind of change the more you look into it. I feel like that's not necessarily a correct representation, but initially that is what they say. And then let's see here, you can follow along through a free app, which is what I downloaded, or you can join a membership and have weekly check-ins with a coach that will help you. Basically, they're going to look at what you did last week and adjust it for the next week, help give you some tips and advice that the program Kurbo Weight Watchers have created and curated for you for your success. These coaches are, as Weight Watchers, it seems like they are trying to make it diverse in their coaching to make it like more relatable, but basically that means that your coaches aren't necessarily nutritionists or dietitians. They have nutritional education in some capacity, but they don't necessarily say exactly where that nutrition information is coming out. So that's a little bit of a question. Who do you want to get your information from? Essentially, the coaches are there to coach you. They're following the program and they're helping you to follow the program. And again, they meet with you for 15 minutes once a week. So just 15 minutes, that's all you get. So I know that they have like some sort of like parents portal as well that they can ask more questions and information, but ultimately the meetings are just 15 minutes. So there you go. All right, so what does a nutritionist like me think of the program? Let's go through the program. Upon first glance, there's not really any programs out there for kids and adolescents to lose weight. I believe there's a reason for that, because it is a very, very tricky subject, a very triggering subject, a very sensitive subject. A lot can go wrong with teaching kids to lose weight and diet. I don't believe that kids should be taught to diet. I know that this program is stated as a lifestyle change, but it sure does feel like a diet. So it's a little hard. Now, I do think that Weight Watchers, they're trying to hit the general public. They're trying to hit the kids in America that are eating standard American diets, highly processed food, they're eating out a lot, they're not exercising. This is what I think they're trying to help. I can be mistaken. They say they want to help everyone, but I think this is where the program would be best suited. Kids that have very, very little education in what it means to live a healthy lifestyle. And so I will be very, very upfront in that I would not recommend this to pretty much anyone. I would recommend it out of like all of America, maybe like 10 to 20% of people. And that's basically saying that, would I rather the child be continuing to eat highly processed foods, being stationary, not getting out and being active, or would I rather them follow this app? I would obviously rather them follow this app than the latter. So moving on to the traffic light, which is like the main part of this program. So what is the traffic light? Again, it is saying that green means go, yellow means to slow down. This is where most of your food's supposed to be. And then red means to stop and think about it beforehand. The hard part that I have with the list is that the only thing that is in green is fruits, vegetables, low-fat milk. I'm not really sure why low-fat milk's in there. And then like water and like condiments like vinegar or like oil, things like that. Actually, no, oil's not on there. That would not be on there. Herbs, vinegar, tomato sauce. I'm not sure why tomato sauce is on there. Water, unsweetened tea, that kind of thing. And then you go into the yellow, and this is what is supposed to be most of your diet. However, you're supposed to think a little bit more about it. And I get a little confused because they have like avocados and fruit popsicles, and then they have eggs and corn tortillas. And I feel like, especially for a child who is growing, their hormones are changing incredibly quickly. Their metabolism is changing incredibly quickly. Things like eggs and avocados, I feel like should be like a freedom food, especially in comparison to corn tortillas and popsicles, even if they are 100% fruit popsicles, because our children need fats and protein in their diets to help grow, to help fuel their brains. And so I feel like when you look at this list, I'm gonna put it on the screen, it's very fat phobic. It's it's based off of information through the standard American diet, which is saying that fat is gonna make you fat. And I'm just not down for it. I'm not on the opposite side where I think with like keto diets where you're eating all the fat, there's definitely a balance between the two. And I feel like they kind of miss the mark. Then we look at the red foods, and these are items that are supposed to be like, you need to stop and think about it. But in these items, it's, an egg cooked in oil or butter, which is a great fat for children and adults. And they're classifying whole milk products and things like that in the same category as like cake and ice cream and like candy bars. And so not in love with it. So I'm not in love with it. So basically I would definitely be rearranging this if this was a diet that I was going to help another child be doing. Because again, there are so many important nutrients in, you know, a whole egg, the egg yolks, the egg whites, avocados, oils, butters, whole milk. I'm definitely a big proponent, if you're gonna be drinking milk, to drink in organic whole milk over low fat milk, because children need the fat. Like that's like the whole point of growing and regulating your hormones and regulating your metabolism, all that stuff. You need them. So there's that. And along the same lines is I just believe in teaching children and families that real whole foods are good for you, and things like a chicken thigh, skin on, bone in, is great for you just as much as a chicken breast that's skinless and boneless. You know, eating real whole foods from a good source are great foods for you. And I feel like this diet is definitely a little behind in the times for what is healthy. I will say that I obviously agree with this food plan when it comes to processed foods. Should we be cutting out processed foods? Yes. I want kids to be eating real whole foods, not processed foods. And so from that regard, kicking those down to the red light where you need to stop and really think about it, that is cool. All right, now we're gonna be diving a little bit further into the red lights, because I read a lot of different blog posts that they have on their website. Overall, their blogs are pretty good. I feel like they have a pretty broad amount of information, and they talk about everything from like reducing screen time to getting out with your family to having healthy recipes and things like that. And that's all great. But within those articles, while they are short and they're easy to read for kids, which is awesome, there's also little messages within it that I think are super, super triggering to children and adolescents, especially children and adolescents who are struggling with self-image and confidence and weight issues and things like that. And so this is where I feel like the program really throws huge red flags, and one of the reasons why I wouldn't recommend it, because again, you're only meeting with a coach for like 15 minutes a week, and they're apparently trained to like notice eating disorders and things like that, but how much can you really tell in 15 minutes? And kids are really great manipulators. They're really good at lying. And so I'm not saying that like kids are bad, but I have worked with a lot of adolescents that have had eating disorders. I've done that in my career, and you really have to be on top of it and make sure that they're following healthy principles, because they can hide things really easily. So when you look at one of the articles in particular, it talks about red lights and how to balance out your red lights. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, what is it going to talk about? Here's what it says. So you're going to go to a friend's birthday party tonight. And so it gives you a 3-step plan from when you wake up to the party. The first is that you are going to wake up and exercise for a minimum of 60 minutes. And that was a huge red flag. Like, guys, you're preparing for having a red food at night. Therefore, you need to exercise in the morning. And that is super, super triggering, especially to this age group, that because you're having red, you should exercise for an hour. And I understand that there are principles throughout the program on their blog posts and stuff like that. It talks about them making sure that kids are exercising 60 minutes a day. Kids have a lot of energy. They play, they go play on playground, things like that. And so that's cool, but it's saying that you need to exercise because of it. And then number 2 says, aim to consume no red light foods until the party. Okay, I can get that. And then number 3 is decide how many red lights you reasonably want to budget ahead of time, because remember that 3 servings of yellow equal red. I couldn't find this on their website at all, and maybe if you join the program it explains more, but I feel like if you're gonna provide a program and you're gonna be charting your food, I feel like there's missing pieces, because when you click on the correlating post to this, it says that you don't want less than 14 reds in a week, but then 3 yellow equal a red, and you shouldn't have reds today because you're gonna have a red tonight. And I just feel like it gets super confusing, and this is geared towards children and adolescents, and I feel like that's a lot of math. And some of their videos that they talk about is like, oh, you need to do this and this, so do the math. And like, I feel like it needs to just be more straightforward of like, we need to eat real whole foods. Let's try not to eat as many, you know, sugary foods. I don't know. I feel like it just gets a little confusing. And the last thing that I'm gonna be talking about is the website itself. And that is talking about the before and afters and the inspirational pictures that they have out. And I'm not down for the website posting pictures of young kids before and after and weight loss, because it makes it abundantly clear to kids that are overweight that their size, that there's something wrong with the size that they are, and that thinner is better. Because look at all these success stories of these kids losing weight, and it puts in your mind that like, well, there's something wrong with me because I need to lose weight. And then, well, I want to look like this person and I want to have this success story. And then you click on the images and at the bottom it says these results are not typical. And I just have a super hard time with it. I'm not down for it. I understand that they're trying to give inspirational stories and things like that. And I do think that it's amazing that these kids have lost weight and things like that. But I just can't get on board with it. So that's what I have for you today. Remember that I'm gonna be doing a part 2 video. I will talk more information about all of this, and we're gonna be seeing my kids and myself, our little tracks that we did through the Kurbo app, and how many reds, yellows, and greens we had. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Stay tuned because I'm gonna be posting more and more videos that are all about healthy eating and eating as a family and ways of just living a healthy lifestyle in general. So if you're new here, press the subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and write some comments down below if you have any questions or comments.